They're going to have what is effectively going to feel like a new signing, I think, around January, in Nkunku. The big hopes on him, of course, and he hasn't played a competitive game.
It's incredible, isn't it? I mean, you look along the list, you look at the amount of injuries that are in that squad, and that's what the manager's actually going to say when you start to list the players at the football club.
Yeah.
So that's what he's going to say. Well, yes, my team is good enough to actually go and beat Nottingham Forest, but judge me a little bit later on when I get more of them back, when I'm able to gain that experience. But I mean, it just tells you that the amount of players and what they can bring is remarkable. What this club has gone and done. And then you lose at home to Nottingham Forest, who are in a development stage to actually try and gain a sort of a mid-table finish. That's their ambition, where Chelsea's is to finish in a Champions League position.
Yeah. Any thoughts on that?
I think that they're both in this sort of, world in football transitional stage. Forest are closer to where they need to be because of them. They're just blending the players in. They seem like they've got the culture already. The foundation's there. Players just come in, one out, and they're already set. Chelsea have now change of manager. He wants to implement his own style, so you're changing all this change of personnel and the style, and he's trying to build a culture, whatever it is, that in the span of a competitive Premier League where success is now, is very difficult.
Do you expect him to be a success, Pochettino?
Yeah, I do.
What is your definition of success?
I believe he's going to get Chelsea very competitive at the top end and challenging for trophies again. Not necessarily winning, because obviously, but I believe he'd be in a position where they are at the top, challenging for trophies in all competitions. That's my idea of success.
I think the danger for me is, I think it's in good hands with the manager that's there, but you might not get results straight away, and it's whether the frustration gathers around the stadium, because there's a long period of time now, we've seen it gather last season, and that's my only problem, is if there's more days like this, the pressure mounts, and ultimately then it becomes very difficult.
But they were also very patient with Potter. They were very patient with him, so it wasn't like they gave him a long period of time. So I believe that, in what they're trying to do, they're realising we can't just change it straight away, because when you're looking around, there is no one to, again, unless there's someone that comes about, there's no one really to do what with the experience he has. So he's one of the elite managers. So they're thinking, we give him time. I know the Premier League don't usually give time, but I think in the part of experience and in the Lampard, they're thinking, now we need to stick with something and see it through for a bit, just to see this to the end. And I think it's in safe hands.
I'm just wondering whether, when you spend over $1 billion, and by the way, he spent more on one transfer window at Chelsea than he did in his entire Spurs managerial career. I'm just going to put that out there. Whether to compete for trophies is enough. And I mean, when you've got someone like Pep Guardiola up north competing in this league, it's going to make it even more difficult, unless we're talking cup competitions.
Well, it's going to make it tough, but he has to deliver something. So I think when you're talking £1 billion and the players that are here, yes, you might not win the Premier League, but you're going to be judged on Champions League finish, delivering a trophy for the football club. That's not going away. Going away. These supporters are wanting to see that. They want to see that, at least that the club are on that journey. You can see you're starting to beat the likes of Manchester City, Manchester United, Arsenal. You start to get good results against them, good performances. You might not always win every game, because if you're using a lot of youngsters as well, I think the key is sometimes that experience might take more time.
And funny enough, we're talking about a player feeling under pressure for his price tag. Every game Pochettino goes in, he's going to be speaking about he's got a £1 billion squad, and every result is judged on a £1 billion squad. Even though football is not like that, but it's going to be judged on your £1 billion squad. So he's
as good as any, though, to handle that, though.
Yeah, could we say his history?
Saying,
that's what he's going to be judged on, his £1 billion squad and £1 billion squad. So every question is going to become, every answer he gives is going to be judged on, well, you've got a £1 billion squad. So he's going to have to, bat off a few, darts thrown his way at times, and just be clever with what he's doing.
Can I ask, when it comes to this team, did they lose too many experienced players, do you feel? Because if you look at the midfield, on certain matches, Enzo Fernandez, who came in January, will be the most experienced Chelsea player in the middle of the park. He hasn't even been here a year.
I think you look at, they're trying to produce these youngsters with value, trying to create them into top players and mould them with a good manager. So they have lost really, really experienced players for certain, which will be a problem. But with the experienced ones at times, they're not going to have that patience in that big group if they're not going to play next week or the week after. It's a really, really tough sort of model that they've took. and we're going to see how it comes, because with so many players and the amount of money that they spent, it's just so difficult for a coaching staff and a manager to find the correct way. And as you said, you're looking at City. Everybody's trying to catch. Arsenal got close. Liverpool have done so well for a few seasons. Manchester United have showed promise. Then they've fallen away. So it's difficult. Spurs very inconsistent as well.
Remember, you got there's other clubs that have their philosophy. Brighton, Brentford, they're all going along their business. So you're still falling. Chelsea wasn't even a top West London club. Talking about London club, they fell well down. So this project has to make giant steps, be successful, catch up. And while doing that, everyone else is striving and spending and getting new players in and developing. So it's not easy. It's not easy in a league that's always moving forward and developing.